Today I'm reviewing the Cybertake S2 outdoor air conditioner. I've been using the Cybertake pretty much all summer, and I wanted to make sure that the things that I did with it were actual real-world tests. I wanted to put it through its paces, and I wanted to make sure that by the end of the summer I could legitimately say this is a great purchase. And if you're looking for an outdoor AC unit that can be used for camping or for emergency uses that runs off of a standard wall outlet, or potentially, we'll get to this in a bit, running off a 48-volt battery, look no further. The way I'm going to demonstrate right now is I've got the Cybertake set up and it's running through its 120 volt AC to 48 volt to DC, which connects right here through this plug. And then I'm running it over here to my Opus. Let's turn on the AC here. Now I've got AC coming in. That should be inverting. Now let's turn this on over here. Press and hold. And immediately it starts blowing air. Got a nice little LED indicator letting you know it's on and blowing. I don't know if this is gonna show up. Looks like it's kind of showing up here. But we can select through here. We've got auto, we've got max, and then we've got our different functions. Eco, dehumidify, just fan. This is actually going to be heat right here. So this not only cools, but you can see now the LED indicator is red, which indicates that it's in heat, which is kind of cool. So you can actually heat as well. So it is a heat pump that reverses both ways. Go back on cool, and we see it's back over here to blue. I've just turned the fan all the way up, and I've turned this all the way down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which you're probably not going to be able to see here. So now we've got it blowing really hard here. It's sucking in here. It's also blowing out exhaust here and sucking in here. So with both the cool air and the exhaust and the intake coming from the same unit, how do you actually get this to cool something down instead of just cooling down on this side and heating it up on the other side? Well, that's where these guys come into play. So they line up and clip on onto the front like this. We'll take the back side. And it does the same thing on the back and clips on. Now it depends on what you're actually wanting to do here as to how you're going to exhaust or send the cool or hot air out. Cybertake sends some accordion style tubes here, right? And they also have these little adapters on here, which can one-handed. Oh my goodness. So I got a little mud on this as well. This is my left hand on top of it. Turn that on. All right, and I can feel this is sucking right here. And then I'm gonna take this one and put it over here. And this is blowing. Ooh, that is some nice cool air. So in this setup, you would actually take this guy, you would pump both of these into your tent if you're gonna be tent camping. And so it would have a return, it would suck warm air out of your tent and it would blow cool air in. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want this unit to be left outside my tent, especially if I'm in a public camping area or with predators on the loose. So my preferred method would be to set this entire unit inside and then put the exhaust on the back side, which will pipe the heat out of your tent or your cabin or your vehicle. So you might be wondering, well, how much energy is this thing using, and can I actually get it to work for extended periods of time? Great question. If we look over here, and if it cooperates, and it doesn't look like it's going to, we're using 426 watts. One thing that I will warn you about, this inverter here, or converter, I can never remember. So it's taking the AC and converting it into DC. This thing gets screaming hot. Like, for real, like it gets absolutely ridiculously hot. It's got a little silicone deal here, and it allows the heat to dissipate. Right now it's relatively cool to the touch, but it's starting to crank up. And I can see now our wattage is 457 watts. The Cybertake started making a little bit of a different noise, but it's putting out some really cool air. Now, if you're not going to use the little channel tubes on the front, go ahead and take this off. It'll make it a little bit easier for you. Plus, you can direct the air how you want it here. Yeah, this feels nice. It's nice and cool and quite pleasant. I'm going to stand in the shade. So a couple of ways that I've used this. On 4th of July, we were sitting out waiting for some fireworks with some friends, and we had some of the grandparents with us, and it was hot. If any of y'all are down here in the South, you know how July 4th, down in Texas, it's beastly. So I went ahead and I pulled along this exact setup, and I took it out with us, and I blowed it toward the elderly. They really enjoyed it. It allowed them to cool down, and so that was pretty cool. So my truck AC actually went out on this trip. We're on our way home, or at least we're loading up to go home, and it doesn't blow. It doesn't do anything. It's done this a couple times before, and I thought this might be an issue, which is why I went ahead and brought along the Opus and that's way back there, the air conditioner. So now my goal is to actually get it, what I had been doing is I had it stuck in the back so that it was coming through this. Now I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna set it all in the front and then pump it back into the back. See how that works. While it did work a little bit, and it definitely kept me from boiling, this unit is not large enough to make the inside of a cab of an old truck that style that has just a ton of heat coming from the floorboard with a 7.3 diesel engine. It generated more heat than this could actually get rid of. So it didn't make it super comfy in there. However, it did make it tolerable. So let's get some temperature ratings while we're here. Let's look right here. And man, this is gonna be tough for you to see, but we're seeing 129 degrees coming out of, let's get in here. Let's look and see. Yeah, so about 120 degrees coming out of that. And then let's look over here on this side, and I'm seeing 65 degrees. 65 degrees coming right out of the edge here, coming out of this hole. On a high 121 and on a low 62. So it's doing some cooling for sure. Right here, if we look at this guy, it's starting to heat up, and I know this really isn't gonna show well for y'all, but it is 90 degrees right here. A couple of things have changed. I've moved from being directly in the sun down here so that we can get some better temperature readings. I also changed it to max, and it's kind of changing up back and forth. It's still sitting around 500 watts. And I also bumped the fan down to 3 instead of 5 because I want to make sure that we can actually get a good sense of its cooling capabilities without actually using the ambient air temperature to change the temperature of what's coming out. Does that make sense? Probably not. The next thing is the drain plugs. I've got them undone here, and it's going to start dripping condensation out the back. It does also come with a hose right here that you can plug into it, and you can run and let it drip. There's also another feature that allows a pump. You can press some buttons here and get the pump to basically recirculate that condensation, and it prolongs its need on mildly humid days to condensate. But on super humid days, you're gonna need to just drain it out. Right here at the exit, we're seeing, 110 degrees. right here, we're still seeing that 60 degree mark. So it's still blowing out nice, cool 60 degree air. And then over here in the back, you know, it's 118 is what I just saw, 118. But if we go over here and we look at the ground, you know, it's close to 80 degrees. So we're getting stuff that's in the 80 to 70. The ground in the sun, you know, we got spots that are 140 degrees over here. Oh, don't mind me. I'll just cool off a little bit. It's hot out here. 100 degrees, 101.6 on the surface of this, and then right next to it, you know, we see the surface of the wood behind it is 74 degrees. So, I mean, it gets toasty. If this thing is in direct sun, it gets probably ridiculously way too hot. So how long would the Cybertake run if my Opus unit over here, power station, was fully charged to 100%? About 4 hours, which really isn't that bad. Now, you add some portable solar panels onto it, and then that extends way out. So you can easily get a portable 400-watt solar panel, plug that on there, and that's almost a one-for-one exchange. You get two of them, you're golden. All right, so I am in my solar room here, and I've got my 6000 XPs running my Homestead. I've got these extra batteries here. I've got a Husky 2 48-volt battery here, and so, or 57.6 volt. This says it is a 48-volt air conditioner, and that converter converts the 110 AC to 48-volt DC. So technically, this is going to be a little bit over voltage. If I look here, we're actually really low on the charge, so we're at 51.6 volts. I've gone ahead and I've wired up, I believe this is an XT90, and I'm gonna plug it directly in, and hopefully we don't have any problems. If we do, I'm sorry, Cybertake, I didn't mean to ruin the system, but it would be great to be able to run direct. Oh, it beeped. Okay, so, oh yeah, dude, this is cool, literally. So, y'all, this pair right here might be the ultimate camping and off the grid air conditioning setup. You know, so no longer do you need the AC side to power it. You don't have to worry about the losses in converting it from the AC to the DC in that crazy hot charging brick. You just simply go straight to your 48-volt system. This is a game changer, y'all. It's nice and cool too. I can't believe it took me this long to plug it in. I was kind of scared. In fact, I've been putting off this video because I didn't want to ruin it. But I felt like I needed to go and plug it in. So finally I did. I've got it plugged in here, and I'm super excited. This thing, it's blowing cold air out the front, blowing warm air out the back. It's perfect. I think I'm going to end on a high note here. If you're interested in a system like this, a Cybertake S2 portable, outdoor air conditioning, I'm going to put links in the description. Go ahead and use those, check it out, and I will see you on the next video.